Thank you, Chair. Good morning, respected Chair and seniors, dear friends. I'm Dr. Javed from India, Foreign Minister of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. I'll discuss about the fluoride-induced alteration in blood chemistry, which is new and it will answer many questions that we have discussed these last 2 days that about autism, about changes in trace elements as Professor Guan has discussed, and autism, Professor Anna has discussed. So we will give answer. I will try to give answer for the malnutrition, how fluoride induces malnutrition and oxidative stress. Now we know that it is very much established that fluoride induces oxidative stress and many types of changes, which is there are a group of diseases and it may be called as the fluorosis syndrome. And how it is happening, it is not clear yet that why oxidative stress is induced and why there are multiple organs are involved. And we have found that there are severe malnutrition due to fluorosis because it changes the gut chemistry, fecal chemistry and serum chemistry, which we will discuss now. This is repeated, but a bit. Fluoride also induces reproductive toxicity and this hematotoxicity. And this hematotoxicity is responsible for resistant anemia during pregnancy, which gives us an idea about that the fluoride induces anemia due to malnutrition that we will discuss. It also induces reproductive toxicity because of lack of certain minerals including selenium and calcium. So this is the prevalence of fluorosis worldwide and in India that we know very well. Another thing is, these are the sources of fluoride in India, especially these, apart from these natural sources of fluoride, that is drinking water, we can see the fluoride contaminated air pollutants. What Dr. Guan discussed about that coal-induced fluorosis. And here we can see there are many types of Ayurvedic preparations and some spices in India which has high concentration of fluoride. And if there is no fluoride in drinking water, yet it can induce fluorosis and fluoride toxicity due to chronic exposure with all these chemicals which contain high concentration of fluoride, including tea. So, the permissive level of fluoride as per WHO guideline is 1.5 ppm in drinking water. But in India it is little less because of conditions, different types of conditions including nutritional conditions. It is 1 ppm is safer upper limit for fluoride in drinking water, with a note of caution that lesser is better, but we have seen in the field that even 0.5, 0.6 ppm of fluoride can induce fluoride toxicity after chronic exposure in the sector of the people who are belong to lower socioeconomic strata, and which forced us to think about the malnutrition and fluoride toxicity. Now, the fluoride induces malnutrition, and malnutrition aggravates the fluoride severity, and fluoride-induced severity, fluoride-induced toxicity. How? Because we have seen that in fluorosis endemic area, there are high prevalence of resistant anemia during pregnancy. Resistant anemia means we administer folic acid along with iron, yet there is no improvement in the hemoglobin concentration, which is called as resistant anemia. And then we thought that the ferritin level is normal, transferrin level is normal, but the total iron concentration in the serum is lesser than the normal, so the person is having anemia due to fluoride exposure even at the minor dose. So other reproductive toxicity we have also observed, which we can see is small for gestational is preterm birth, congenital defects, recurrent abortions, and increased maternal and neonatal death. The project was funded by DST, Government of India, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and all these findings is an hypothesis. So here we can see that these are the malnourished children having sign of skeletal fluorosis, malnutrition, and dental fluorosis. Here we can see skeletal fluorosis and malnutrition, and they belongs to very poor socioeconomic strata, and they were also having some other kinds of malnutrition symptoms, including malformation. So another thing we have observed that in 1 or 2 villages, almost 2 to 3% of the children suffering from different types of mental abnormalities. That here we can see this is the case of cerebral palsy. These are only representative photographs. There are many more. And having sign of fluorosis also, the same child we can see here with the skeletal fluorosis. This child is having Down syndrome along with the dental fluorosis we can see, and here we can see there are autism, and this is also having sign of dental fluorosis, which confirms that the fluoride somehow influence the developmental process as well as it induces some neuronal defects due to malnutrition, due to alteration in the total chemistry of the serum, total chemistry of the gut. So now the hypothesis, early hypothesis was fluoride induces some type of like oxidative stress and then misregulation of uterine activities, then endocrine disruption and alteration, finally defects anemia, and it gives adverse pregnancy outcomes. So this was the study on the human subject, and later on we plan to confirm the same in the animal model in controlled condition. So we we designed one experiment where we have chosen 3 groups. One is control, which is administered with 1 ppm of fluoride ad libitum for 75 days. Another group is 50 ppm of fluoride. Yet another group which is having 100 ppm of fluoride. And the dose calculated was for 5 ppm human equivalent dose and 10 ppm human equivalent dose. So, and we confirm that there are fluoride exposure. They have taken fluoride contaminated water, and the serum level of fluoride was increased accordingly. So accordingly, we have seen there is increased concentration of increased level of oxidative stress also, and increased level of lipid peroxidation, which is now well accepted. So that our experimental study also confirmed that there is significant reduction in total number of POPs. Here we can see in non-fluoride treated group, we can see the number is around 11. Here we can see around 7. So the number of POPs reduced significantly, and the low burnt weight we have also observed 3 grams versus 5 grams in normal, but approximately 3 gram neonatal weight. And 30 days postnatal mortality rate was also very high. Maternal and POPs mortality rate was high. HB in both the cases, in maternal as well as in POPs, it is remarkably lower than that of the normals. So just to find out the mechanism why there are resistant anemia after administration of folic acid as well as iron. So here we can find that, we can see here, this is the fecal chemistry that we have evaluated all the elements of the fecal material with the help of inductive coupled plasma mass spectroscopy, and it gives an idea that here we can see this blue color is control, this red is 50 ppm, and this is 100 ppm. We can see here there is increase, dose dependent increase in the concentration of magnesium, aluminum, calcium, potassium, vanadium, chromium, all the, even iron, cobalt, nickel, zinc, all the essential and trace elements. It is very high in the fecal material. The first panel is showing fecal material, and here the increase is in dose dependent manner, while on the other hand we can see, contrary to the fecal material, we can see in serum that there is just reverse of that. There is reduced quantity of all these elements in the serum, which induces malnutrition, and reduced concentration of all these essential elements in the serum. It is also confirmed with the help of inductive coupled plasma mass spectroscopy. Then the question was, why this changes? Is there any changes in the fecal material? How and in which form the fluoride along with all those ions is getting excreted from the stomach? So then the samples were subjected for XRD analysis, and we found that there are change in the fecal chemistry also. And here we can see, this is the graph. Here we can see with the help of software we can see that these are, actually it is not looking clearly, but one thing we can see, here we have selected fluoride, and here this is fluoride and this is calcium. So if we choose the compound having fluoride as well as the calcium, in a normal group we can see that there is no compound in the fecal material which contain fluoride as well as calcium. While we choose the fluoride administered group, we can see here that here again we have chosen fluoride versus calcium in the fluoride treated group, and we can see here that there are at least 8 compounds having much higher concentration of these, which shows that this calcium is getting excreted through the excreta when the fluoride is available there. When in presence of fluoride, the calcium is not available to be absorbed through the gut. Now, likewise we can see here the iron also. The same case is happened, only one compound having 0.7 ppm. Here there are 3-4 compounds having at least 0.6, 0.7 and 0.8 ppm of iron, which is getting excreted with fluoride. That is causing resistant anemia during pregnancy. Now, the another thing, what are the impact of these changes, change in the fecal material and other hormones and activities of the gut? So here we can see this is enteroendocrine cell, which is endocrine cell of the gut and found throughout the GI tract. Not be clearly seen in the LM, but we can see with the help of electron microscope, we can see here this is the enteroendocrine cells, and there are a type of, this is a type of enteroendocrine and neuroendocrine cell. Upon activation, EC cells releases serotonin to act upon serotonin receptor on ENS. So it affects whole enteric neurons and accordingly changes the activity of the gut. So here this is the another showing the secretory vesicles in the enterochromaffin cells, and if we see the effect, so mainly this is secreted by the serotonin 5-HT. Here we can see a brain neurotransmitter, but 90% of it is made in the gut. The level of this peripheral serotonin have been limited to the disease such as irritable bowel syndrome, which is very common in case of fluorosis, and its receptor presents ENS neurons, so it has capability to influence the ENS system and gut motility and gut activity. So we have seen that there is marked, this is the first panel is control, second panel is 50 ppm and 100 ppm. This is DAPI, serotonin and somatostatin, one of the hormone affected that influenced by and modulated by serotonin. So here we can see there is marked increase in the serotonin activity which influence the gut motility, while at 100 ppm there are toxicity and the enterochromaffin cells are not able to synthesize that much quantity of that serotonin, and there is marked reduced concentration. That was also confirmed by RT-PCR, and the same result we found, while in confocal microscopy also in the merger we can see here the serotonin and this merger, this is controlled, so significantly higher concentration here in the 50 ppm, while the concentration of this serotonin and somatonin again reduced in 100 ppm treated fluoride. So next, we now what are the impact of all these changes? So enterochromaffin cells secretes this serotonin and then modulate the ENS function, which in turn modulates the digestion, absorption, motility, hormonal secretions, which include gastrins and many more hormones, and reduces the smooth muscle contraction and blood flow within the intestine, which again puts its adverse effect on the absorption of nutrients through the gut. So the last thing we check that if there are changes in fecal chemistry, there must be some impact on the gut flora, which is very important for digestion, absorption and overall maintenance of gut health as well as overall health. So here also we have seen that there are marked changes, although this is in preliminary stage. This last slide I will show you. So here we can see there is marked change in abundance as well as diversity as the level of phyla and genus also. Yeah, genus also. We have seen as at a species level also, but it is very elaborate, so we can't discuss here. So here we can see there is loss of, this is G1 which is normal control, there is no fluoride there, but in G2 50 ppm and G3. So in dose dependent manner, there are reduction in abundance of the microflora as well as the diversity also. We can see here the diversity at the genus level. We can see there are many more. Here only abundance has reduced, but when we go at genus level, we can see there are decrease in diversity also. So once there is decrease in diversity and abundance, it may induces n number of changes in the gut activities. So we know that there is 1:10, 1 R cell versus 10 microflora are there. So we can assume the importance of the microflora, which is totally changed due to fluoride administration. Now, with all these findings, we have chosen to administer. Now our clinician has started giving all the micronutrients in case of acute or chronic fluoride toxicity, and this is one of the promising treatment option to reduce the fluoride toxicity. We are working on it, and very soon we will translate the finding to the clinic, and we will start treatment based on all those things. So some take-home message is what we have now. Just replace drinking water, avoid fluoride containing foods. Diet editing is very important. What have been discussed throughout the conference, that is very important for in reducing oxidative stress and to just ameliorate the effect of fluoride toxicity. And then administration of, this is very new, what we have just now included in the treatment option, and administration of micronutrient tablets and multivitamins, because all the vitamins has its cofactor as a cationic metals, manganese, magnesium, and sometimes chromium, and all those are reduced in the serum. So if there are vitamins there, it is not able to work properly. So it is the need to administer all the micronutrients just to compensate the loss. That's why just we have started all those things. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for your excellent presentation. I have two.
Thank you.
I found that it is very interesting to determine to try to find the gut microbiota change to the victims of fluorosis. So did you find some special microbes that can improve the health status of these victims?
Yeah. So lactobacillus is decreased significantly. So if we can add lactobacillus along with along with some certain. Actually, this is in very preliminary stage, and we will make a combination of at least 20 species. That will improve.
What do you want to blend? What microbes do you want to blend in an ingredient?
Ingredient, it is available in the market. Like in India, it is Econorm. There is Econorm combination of bacillus and lactobacillus. There are many more combinations. So we will make a combination. We are working on that, and certainly very soon we will be able to give some combination which will compensate the loss which has occurred due to fluoride toxicity.
Did you measure that with the fluoride concentration goes up?
Fluoride concentration
goes up?
Yes. It is
any changes?
Yeah. There is changes in fecal chemistry, serum chemistry. In serum, the fluoride concentration increases in dose-dependent manner, and even in fecal material also, it is increases in dose-dependent manner. So if once the fluoride is antimicrobial, that's why it is used for defluoridate, just to prevent the dental caries and all. Okay, so if it is going to the fecal material, which is evident that this is present in the fecal material, so certainly it will kill the microbes. And the diversity will be lost.
Okay. Did you ever consider to study the oral microbes with the dental fluorosis?
Actually, in case of dental fluorosis, the concentration which is given for all those.
Did there any changes?
Yeah, in dental fluorosis, in any types of fluorosis, if there are intake of fluoride, certainly it will go. If it
so the microbes in the oral condition.
Oral microbes we have not seen actually, because there are many confounding factors. Different types of toothpaste, different types of medications, they all affect the microbiota of the oral microbiota. So in that case, we can't keep the person in that captive condition that you have to use this paste, you have to take these things, and then we will take oral swab and go for the change.
Because
That is not
this program.
yeah, ethically it is not permitted actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it is.
Thank you.
Other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much.
So we'd like to invite